Welcome back to This Week. Time now to get the views of our media and political experts, the former chair of the State Democratic Party, Bob Tuke, and syndicated talk show host Steve Gill. Welcome, gentlemen. Nice to see you again.
Good to see
Talk a little bit about Chris Bungard's piece in Rutherford County during the early voting period there. 6 polling places closed when they should have been open, and these two, the GOP and the Democratic primaries, very close, 300 to 500 votes separating one, 300 or less in the other. This could really switch the election, but what do you do now? Is it just too late for anything to happen?
Well, Tennessee law is pretty clear that if you have this kind of problem, the courts decide, and they shall void the election if you've got a major problem.
In that county?
That means that you would void it in Rutherford County, all the races, and you've got county commission races that were very close. You've got a sheriff's race down there that was pretty close. You've got both sides in the congressional district primaries on the Republican and the Democratic side. You would, in that county, have a re-election. You'd have early voting. You'd open things up. The problem for example, the Zelnick campaign, where she only lost by a couple hundred votes to Diane Black, is that there were about 29,000 votes in Rutherford County in that primary process. She would need to turn out those kind of numbers and still get a huge victory there.
To win.
And I'm not sure you'll get 29,000 votes turned out in the Republican primary if you have a do-over in Rutherford County. And if you get 20,000, can she get 15, 16,000 votes, or can Jim Tracy to get the votes needed to add to the rest of the district and win? I think for her it doesn't work. Now, for the Carter-Lemming race, I think it could change things. For those county commission races, it could change.
Sheriff's
for the sheriff's race, it could clearly change things.
So somebody, in order for it to get before the court, somebody has to file a lawsuit. And so far, I haven't heard any talk about a specific lawsuit being filed, so I just don't know. But that is the process, and Steve's right about the law. So who knows?
Apparently it can't happen until after Monday when the votes are certified. Once they're certified, then someone can file. I guess a campaign can file, whoever wants to challenge it.
Well, you knock out half the folks that might file because they won. They don't have any interest in challenging it.
They're good with them.
The other half that's there, either some of them are looking ahead to political careers or not wanting to taint themselves with a backlash. Every one of them's thinking, I want that other guy to file this, not me.
Absolutely, because the cost of that and the disruption of it, and it's all going to be blamed on whoever that plaintiff is. So it's going to be really interesting.
And the real blame goes to the administrator down there who was a holdover, who actually challenged to keep his job. When Republicans took over the majority in the State House and the State Senate, they took over the State Election Commission. They took over the right to put in a majority of election commissioners in each of these counties. And in this county, in Rutherford County, you had a Democrat election administrator who actually fought to keep his job, claiming that removing him would have been political. He kept his job. This is what we got.
But if you're Truman Jones, longtime sheriff down there who lost by a handful of votes, if you're Ben Lemming, your man down there who lost by a handful of votes, you're waving a flag going, maybe we should look at this.
Truman's the most likely, I think, to do something because he's got nothing to lose.
National story last week happened after we taped our show last week, where the president comes out in support of building the mosque in New York City, not specifically that location, but the right for it to be built. The controversy grows over the week, and now I guess the question is, what is the real issue here? Is it the right? Is it the location? Is it the funding? It seems like it's a many-pronged animal has been created.
Well, I think it's first the place and second the funding. I mean, this imam, who is supposedly this peaceful guy, is one that has been saying some pretty outrageous things, including right after 9/11, that essentially America got what it deserved, that we put Osama bin Laden in power, that 9/11 was born and made in the USA. And that kind of talk, combined with the questionable funding, where he's looking to Iran, he's looking to Saudi Arabia for $100 million, and the proximity to Ground Zero. The landing gear for one of the planes that hit the Twin Towers hit the roof of this building, and this imam has said that's one of the reasons they want it there, because it is that close. They're putting it there for a reason, and that's why it shouldn't be there.
I think the location of it, frankly, is very unfortunate. An awful lot of people in this country are saying, look, this is not about freedom of religion. A number of other people are saying, oh, yes, it is. But if it weren't for that location, I don't think you'd hear all of this controversy. And it is true that Ground Zero is important. That is a critical piece of American real estate now. That's part of our ethos as a country. So a lot of people just are flat unwilling to get to the freedom of religion piece of it. They are saying, look, I don't care what you want to put here. It isn't going to be here. and it shouldn't be here. And it's hard to get beyond that with an awful lot of people, and it's hard to be terribly critical of that.
But there's a mosque 4 blocks away. Where is it okay? Is it 5 blocks enough? 10 blocks? I mean, that's
well, I'm saying you got
that's
to
the
tear
tough
down
part.
existing mosques or tear down existing property. I mean, one of the most bizarre arguments so far is the New York Daily News this week ran a piece saying, well, there's some strip clubs in this area. Look, if 13 or 19 strippers got on a plane on 9/11/2001 and brought down the towers, I wouldn't be in favor of a 13-story, $100 million strip club being built. It's not what's there, it's what you're planning to build there. And you're right, there's a mosque 4 blocks away. There's about 100 mosques in Manhattan. Why this one? Why there? It is intended as a victory celebration for 9/11.
And even if it isn't, it's so large, it is so attractive of attention that it allows people to believe that it's something ill, even if it weren't. And I understand now there's some talk about maybe locating some land a couple of miles away and doing some kind of a swap. I know if I were in charge of that operation, giving them all the best benefit of the doubt, I would move it.
Steve Gill, Bob Tuke, appreciate your time and your insight. Stay with us. This week continues in a moment.